Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Media on the Rocks, where we talk movies and have a couple drinks and have fun. Today with me is Ashton.
Hello.
Trevor.
Hello.
And Parker.
How's it going?
He's always slow.
I was drinking.
All right, so today we're going to be covering the first episode of the new Disney Plus show Loki, titled Glorious Purpose. What'd you guys think?
Ooh.
Lots of thoughts.
Yeah, who wants to start?
Oh, you guys are looking at me because I'm scratching my
you
nose.
were saying
Yeah.
you were talking a lot about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I love puzzles, and I especially with Marvel. I feel like they give you so many little Easter eggs and stuff. So every time there's like a new show out or something like this, where it's like that first episode where they don't really give you anything, they're just setting it up. I'm like going back and like scrubbing, like making sure I see every little detail. I thought it was good. Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit plain Jane as far as Marvel goes, but obviously, like we said, they're setting up for quite a big theme of the multiverse and time travel and whatever the sacred timeline. So there's kind of a lot to cover and like educate you in so that this like world makes sense. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, it felt like even though we've been in this world since Iron Man 1, which feels like an eternity ago, it's like introducing you to the world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This is the
It's
TVA.
very different, too.
This
There was
is
a lot
how
of
the
new
timeline
stuff,
works.
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of new things in the Marvel universe that we found out in this one episode.
Yeah.
So they had to
Yeah.
kind of string us along a little bit.
Definitely.
I will say that was like the only kind of downside for me was the amount of like exposition.
The
like
entire episode was exposition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the scene with Miss Minutes,
Yeah.
where she kind of basically explains how the TVA works and everything like that. Like,
You're like, thank you, infomercial.
Yeah.
I've got it now. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was actually one of my favorite parts of the
Yeah.
episode. I loved that. It was
They-
like very cheesy, governmental from
Yeah.
the like 70s,
I felt like that was like well done exposition, but then when you couple it with like all of the just not so well done, I don't know. Like that part where he's
It's
like,
very, like,
I want to
kitschy.
take over Midgard, and Mobius is like, also known as Earth, and it's like,
Is it?
Yes.
Is it now?
astute.
Yes. Yeah.
like, can we get to some cool time stuff now?
Kind of like wrapping up where like we left off with Loki, how he died and whatnot. Kind of like a quick, here you are,
Yeah,
but
that was
not
cool
so
to
quick.
see that scene from Endgame from his perspective.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because what would you think if you saw yourself die in a?
ooh,
Because you have to
In a
realize
horrific
that
way.
Loki doesn't obviously know that he dies.
Yeah.
Or like
He
that.
still
He knows
thinks he
nothing
has-
about that
yeah.
moment, So he is just completely oblivious
Yeah,
to all
I meant
of
more
that.
the part where like Ant-Man comes and like kicks the briefcase
Yeah.
away, and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is like a weird thing, and we were talking about this
Somebody's drunk.
about how like he doesn't know that he's a variant. He was just living his life, and then he saw an opportunity to escape, and now all of a sudden, these time cops basically are just all up in his shit.
It seems kind of weird to me, just in like a broad scale, if you're a god that you don't know that there's like multiple timelines.
Well, that's just kind of like the scale. That's like showing like he's a god to these normal people,
Yeah.
but compared to him, there are people way higher up
Yeah.
on
And
the
compared
the
to
list.
Thanos, I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
dude has just so many Infinity Stones just sitting in a drawer
And,
or
like,
in a
look
how
filing
long it
cabinet.
took
That's
him,
kind
yeah.
of like what they were going for. Is like these people are all powerful. They know so much more than anything that people know about.
He using his
nowadays. Like,
paperweights.
yeah. From what I gathered is that the TVA exists in a different little pocket dimension, so
Yeah.
they're not affected by like Thanos snap.
correct.
I want to say the original idea behind the Infinity Stones was that they only worked in the dimension that they were from. And so obviously if they left that dimension and wherever the TVA or the Citadel is or whatever, those stones don't work. They don't function.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like they're kind of playthings in that dimension, which was kind of interesting because like we've had 20 something movies
Yeah.
all about like lead up to these stones being, the
And like we
pivotal
really
part.
only
Yeah.
recently found
Yeah.
out about them.
And then here they're like chump change.
yeah.
Yeah. What is it like? I can't remember what movie it is where they're saying like, having the power to wield one Infinity Stone is so incredible. No one's ever even tried to do two. And it's like this dude's just got a drawer open.
Yeah, like a junk drawer too. Yeah.
I think.
sorry.
I think though, like this was kind of like the departure for the Infinity Stones, where they decided like this is how we're gonna send it off. Like these aren't really the priority in our huge story anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
I
I
agree with
always
that.
kind of look at stuff like this with how you have to like Star Wars extended universe verse stuff, where like there's a big portion of the audience that's never going to watch the shows. They're just going to kind of watch the movies and maybe even just like the Avengers movies and stuff like that. And we were kind of talking about, you were saying there's like a big like theory going around that this is like done by Nightmare and it's more of an illusion than anything else. And it kind of makes me think like, are they just teasing the multiverse in front of us again? Like, would they
Because
reveal
how many times
something?
have they teased the multiverse? You
Well,
know what I mean?
Spider-Man
Yeah.
2 was like huge. I mean, all the trailers were
I
about
think
the multiverse.
I think they
and
will
stuff.
run with it because the new one is called No Way Home, and then what's the new Doctor Strange movie coming out? Like Madness in the Timelines or something like that. Madness in the
yeah.
Multiverse Madness.
The
Yeah.
multiverse.
So
of
I
madness,
think
something
by
like
the end of this, by the 6th episode, shit's gonna hit the fan. I think because we've talked about this. So a bunch of the TVA units have been attacked and they're like going missing, and each time their reset charges, which reset the timelines, have been taken away. So 7 times that's happened. So this person who are we doing no spoilers? I mean,
I think
spoilers.
there's spoilers, yeah.
So the person we find out, the villain that they're chasing, is another version of Loki. So we'll just run with it. We'll say it's Loki. I don't think it is. We'll say it is. They now have 7 of these timeline reset charges. So I feel like if you are stockpiling those, like what can you do with that? And how are you going to, I don't know, just fuck with the timeline that much?
Yeah.
You know, I almost wonder if it's going to be like an anarchist, like Rise Against the Machine kind of thing, like where they're going to like fuck with this sacred timeline. Like they're trying to gather as many of these like reset charges as possible and like attack the Citadel kind of thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. And just to have everything go crazy. I wish they would go with the multiverse because I feel like they've teased it so many times and then they're like, no, we're just kidding. I hope now that they really are. And I think maybe that's where we'll get, the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland, in a different timeline. And then now how is he going to get back home when the sacred timeline's fucked? You
The
know?
only thing, and it's like not even like a plot thing, so it's kind of stupid to even be assuming based on this, but that I think is why they wouldn't do it is I just don't know if this is like the vehicle they want to use to like push the multiverse. Like,
But
that
they're
just
pushing it
feels
in
like,
WandaVision too. So the fact that 2 Disney shows now
but
are
they didn't
alluding
really
to
push it
Nightmare.
in WandaVision like this. Like,
I think what it might be doing is setting up rules for how the multiverse functions. And so, obviously when you get into time travel and shit, like it gets pretty heavy and kind of complicated because you got to worry about like loopholes and paradoxes and shit like that. And so if they establish, through this show how the TVA works, how time works, and how you could interact with different timelines and stuff, we're a little bit more accepting of how the multiverse is going to work.
yeah, I think that that's a good call.
Yep.
That's probably how it's going to happen because I just don't know, man. That feels like an Avengers movie level thing, like
Yeah.
revealing the multiverse. Like that's huge. That's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
I will say though, I'm
basically like Endgame huge.
I'm like super excited just to see if we see more Lokis. Like obviously I think
That'd be awesome.
they already spoke to it. Like they said
We
that
talked
we're
about this.
hunting another Loki. We're hunting you. It'll be awesome to see Loki interacting with himself, and if he's willing to, backstab himself basically,
And I
like to
feel
serve
like
himself.
With Marvel, it's kind of underwhelming that they like rarely use his like shape changing and stuff like that. Like they really don't. And I mean that's his whole thing. He's mischievous. He's always like you never know what to expect him as. You never know what to see him as, And it would be cool because, we talked about this before, but on the file it says like his sex is fluid. So I think we'll probably see like a lady Loki or, like an older version of himself too. A lot of the cast has been revealed for the upcoming episodes, but their characters haven't been revealed too. So I think that's important to pay attention to. There's one guy, I forgot his name. I wish I knew his name. He's a villain in Star Wars, and I think he plays one of like the Sith or something like that. I don't
Darth
know.
Vader.
It's not Darth Vader, but
Darth Maul.
Yeah, he plays one of those, and so he's cast for these future episodes, but they won't reveal who he's gonna play. So they're thinking maybe that's like King Loki, like future Loki. And I mean, he plays a great villain, and I could see him being a good, mischievous, evil future Loki. But
So,
we'll
quick
see.
question. Do we think that this is all part of Loki's plan and this evil Loki is just this Loki that's learned all this information
think
and
so.
then is coming back and messing with everything
that
kind
was-
of thing?
That would be
That
like
was my
a
thought.
crazy reveal.
You see, you know
in
what
the
I'm getting
final
at though? Like he
episode.
learns all
That
this
would be
information
huge.
and then he like does all this work and then goes back into the timeline and then comes back and starts messing with everything.
I totally think he figures something out about the time and how it works with these like reset button things,
I have something
and
to say on
he
that too.
figures out how to basically come out on top in some sort of way.
Exactly.
And so one version of himself goes, outside the structured lines and just starts fucking with everything.
Yeah. When he's in the Gobi Desert and they're like just like passing him through the portal, he looks back when they hit the reset charge, and for a second, like his face looks like pure recognition of like, oh, like I know what that is. So I'm very curious. I feel like why would you put that face in? They're very like specific about the things they let you see, and I feel like that was it was like for a good while on his face where he's looking back and sees them hit that reset charge. And even there was like a sound or like a bit of music that was like, I can't remember what it made me think of, but made me like recognize something from previous Marvel movies. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it again. But his face of recognition when they hit that reset charge, I was like, ooh, that
Yeah.
seems like a big fucking thing for us to see him have that look of recognition.
Because I mean, like you said, he is the god of mischief and trickery and things like this. So this is
Like,
exactly
what
the
better
kind
than
of
a
things that he
reset
does.
timeline button?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
like now that he knows this information, I think he's going to learn as much as he can by fighting against himself to help himself accomplish that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do we think that the TVA are good?
No, absolutely not. I think they're
Really?
look how strict they are. They
they're
have
just
so many.
bureaucrats.
I think it's different than that though. It's almost a cult like because they have all these leaders, right? But everybody doesn't like the judge, he's like, okay, but what do you do? And she's just kind of like, well, I do what they say I do.
Dictate
And
on
the guy who's been
invitations.
behind his desk this entire life, this drab, dreary desk, doesn't have a life, doesn't know what a fish is. I mean, they're very zero tolerance. They even have posters up, zero tolerance. All of their posters around are very like Hitler-esque, like very like
Big
Hitler
Brother.
Youth, like
Yeah.
We are
with
watching.
like the beams.
Yeah.
I don't think they're good at all. I think they're
I
very.
don't think they're good.
So do we think that
Yeah.
it's the three?
They might
What
be
are they called? The
impartial.
Time Wardens or whatever? Or is it them that's
The
bad?
timekeepers.
The timekeepers.
timekeepers?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they could be like.
the next.
I think
bad
it's
guys.
like three big villains, and this is where I think that Nightmare comes into play because he has that type of power to create an alternate dimension. Like he lives in the dream world that's like a collective world of all of humanity's like subconscious, right? He
Now,
rules
see,
that.
Is this a WandaVision thing?
No, this is just a theory. It kind of
Nightmare
stems
from
from
WandaVision?
WandaVision. No, he's not in there
Okay.
at all. This is just a theory that he's the reason behind her hex being so powerful. And the whole time, when Loki's looking out at the Citadel, he's like, this isn't real. Like, this is a dream. Like, this can't be real. And then the guy's like, it is real. And even Owen Wilson's character doesn't seem to know a whole lot. He's like, time passes differently here. Time passes differently in dreams, And
Yeah.
then with the kablooey gum, the
Inception.
character who's on there looks very similar to the comic book character Nightmare. So I don't know. Just a lot of things inside,
That is a
It's-
cocktail.
It's, yeah.
That is a cocktail.
That's a strong one.
yeah.
Because as you guys know,
Sounds
I
fun.
have not seen any of the other Marvel.
I just did a
TV
deep dive
series.
this morning, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
on
So
that's
board.
right.
I don't know any other. I know no information about
Yeah.
any of them. I haven't
Were
done
you lost?
WandaVision. No, not for this one. But like I
Yep.
said, if there is a character from like WandaVision or something like that, I have no idea.
It's not a
about it.
character from WandaVision, and he hasn't been brought up. But in the comics, he's notoriously a villain of Doctor Strange, and they're building it up that he's going to be the villain of Doctor Strange in the new movie. So I think it doesn't hurt to think that it can tie in with Loki and WandaVision, especially something like this where, like I said, like there's these like basic rules put out, but there's no real clear like path of like how this world works, how the TVA works. Everybody's kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of in charge, or even like in the dreamscape, like dreams have rules, and Owen Wilson's character is like, well, this is just how it is, like this is how it is in the TVA, like there's no getting around it, like and even Loki the whole time is just kind of like, this doesn't seem like real, like no, I don't know. I'm not saying necessarily that the TVA is fake, but I don't know. I think it's built off of a dream. I think it's built off of a nightmare,
The only problem with that is that I do feel like if it is like a nightmare thing, I'm worried that it is going to be just like Spider-Man 2 and just be like no multiverse, just a dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got your hopes up for
Yep.
nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me. But, I just feel like there's too many coincidences between WandaVision, this, and he's the nemesis of Doctor Strange. They're having the new movie come out.
Well, I think how that's going to work, because WandaVision is for sure going to be the evil person in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just absolutely. They're going to be fighting, and I think it's going to be like a Batman v Superman thing.
See, if they do that, it's going to throw people like me off hardcore, because Wanda is
No,
a
because
good
they'll
character.
do a ton of exposition
But
for
that's
it.
why.
better,
But I think that's
because
why
like
they're
I said,
getting rid of the
because
multiverse.
I
They're
They
making
always
it.
do.
They're making it
Because
swallowable
if she's
for the
suddenly
masses.
the bad person, I
Well,
have
that's-
no idea. Like, that is brand new information.
But these people, like, and she's not bad, but, like, they have differences.
Mhm.
But, like, they're good at what they do. Like, every Avengers movie has a ton of catch up for people who didn't watch
That's
Thor
true.
Ragnarok
That's true,
Yeah.
and Black Panther
True.
and Spider-Man 2. Like, these movies are made to catch you up.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
think it would be a
They're
problem.
self-isolated.
But so, like, basically, Wanda became the Scarlet Witch who uses, like, dark magic. And basically, there was, like, ties to the Sorcerer Supreme, who is Doctor Strange. And he's basically honor bound to not let people practice that kind of shit. And so it looks like they're... And then they also kind of did play with timelines there at the end a little bit with, like, her hearing her kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think there's going to be, like, Batman vs. Superman, where, like, Wanda and Strange are fighting the whole movie, and then maybe, like, a nightmare reveals himself, and they have to team up.
I have
And then
something to
Doctor
say on
Strange, like, you know what?
Right?
You're actually pretty cool,
Yeah.
even though you practice dark magic.
And see,
Yeah.
this is where I think Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, I think he's real too. I think he's in this dream with Loki. And my reason for that is when they're in France and they're at the church, right? He tells the other timekeepers or time wardens, whatever, Minutemen. He tells them to scan the evidence for a temporal aura. And the guy goes, we never find anything. He's like, I know, just do it anyways. And so I think he's kind of starting to crack the code of, like, this is a dreamscape. This is a dream world. Like, I don't know. It's just a little sus to me,
All right, if we jump out of theories for a
Sorry,
second.
I'm a
no,
theory
it's
person.
totally fine. Any other thoughts on, like, the overall show?
Mobius was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I
So
loved
waiting
his
for him to say,
character.
wow.
Owen
I know.
Wilson. I know.
I know.
He didn't drop one. I was
Not a
expecting
single
it the
wow.
entire time.
They should have done that after the credits, make you wait, and he could just go, wow. You know?
There was a post on Reddit before the show that was, like, one of those, like, bet on an outcome. It was like, how many times does Mobius say wow? And I hit 0. I was like, they're saving that for episode 2.
Yeah.
They're not gonna...
At least,
He's-
yeah.
They're
and it's
gonna
gotta
wow
be the
tease
hands on the
us.
hip.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
I will say
For
though,
sure.
like his character was really fun. He was just serious, and I liked his interaction and chemistry with Loki.
It was a nice contrast.
Yeah,
Very
like
light and
good-
easygoing.
good balance.
Yeah.
that scene where he
character.
kind of calls Loki out on his shit and just asks him to basically define a Loki, like
Yeah.
to himself,
Mhm.
and like do you like evil? Do you like hurting people? And he kind of puts him on blast. I think that was like an important part for Loki moving forward. Like his character is gonna really take this moment to figure out what it is that he wants. And Mobius was kind of like the catalyst for that.
It's an interesting episode just because it was basically just Mobius giving Loki a therapy session for the entire episode.
Mhm.
It was good. It's weird. If you like ask me if I like Owen Wilson as an actor, I would probably tell you no. But whenever
he's
I
fine.
see him in things, he
great.
does have like a sort of
course, Trevor
charisma
likes
to
him.
him.
He's
great.
That he's just fun to watch on screen.
Yeah.
Is it just me,
He
or did
is.
his nose get infinitely more fucked up?
Oh
Was
yeah,
it the
he
lighting?
has a weird
I
like.
feel
know,
it just
I
gets
I
worse
know
over
his
time.
nose is like bad, but this I was like,
I
I don't
noticed
remember
that.
being this bad.
Yeah, I
You
know.
That
know?
guy's been punched in the face
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
Or he's just like really clumsy and just keeps falling on his face,
Could be it.
He
Falls
wakes
down
up
his
and he
face.
just face plants onto
Yeah.
the floor every single morning.
With age, it's just getting weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
I really like the design of like the city in the background when they're
Mhm.
walking, but like I was kind of bummed, which I guess we wouldn't see it this episode, but I hope that we get to see it because
little bit
like
more the
we were
Citadel?
just in in
Mhm.
like gray hallways. It felt
Mm.
like
Mhm.
But I think that
did-
was intentional, is
No,
to make
yeah,
it
for
seem
sure.
mundane and like look how much paperwork goes behind a sacred timeline. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Files
when he,
and
when
files
he's got to
and
say all
files
of the
and-
words that he's ever said in his
Yeah.
entire life.
It was a
and he's
small book.
giant stack
And
of-
it
I mean,
comes
he's a
out
god, and it's what
on that little thing.
Uh-huh.
1,200 pages.
I like the aesthetic of the place though. It had a very like 70s sci-fi
Yeah,
vibe. It was
yeah.
super old school.
Yep.
The thing comes out like on a old school one of those like line reader things.
Mhm.
yeah.
And like the handles to doors were like these pull things and shit.
Yeah.
Like it was
It was cool.
kind of interesting to look
Yep.
at.
Definitely.
Which actually so we were talking before this, and Trevor, you were saying that you hated the look of the TVA's
their uniforms.
I think they were just ill-fitting, specifically on the main
it just
girl.
looked cheap to me, and it didn't look like something that a Disney level of production should have as a uniform. Like,
I feel that, but I looked up the TVA in the comics and just like had a couple reference photos, and it was like pretty spot on. Like, I feel that was like fan service a little bit to like, you know, those old school
it felt
like
very
looks.
Metro.
Which if that's what they were going for, then
which they've been
great,
doing. They did a little bit of that in WandaVision during the Halloween episode where they dressed up as themselves basically, but in their old retro comic book costumes.
I think probably as like an ode to Stanley. Now he's gone. You know, probably like trying to get back to their roots. You know.
Yeah, and so I didn't mind it all that much. I thought, like, you know, especially in the final scene where you see them kind of silhouetted by the light and stuff, they looked really like dark and imposing, and they're weird baton things that basically delete people.
Dude, that was crazy,
right?
I was like, oh,
I want one of those.
I don't know
why you would want one of those
to delete people.
Oh God,
I don't like you.
Oh, the guests I would delete. The many tables I would just nope. Get the fuck out of my restaurant.
Exactly.
Oh, I would have used it on every single guest last night. Trash night last night. Oh my. Brutal
but yeah,
stuff.
overall, I think like the look and flavor of it was kind of like interesting. It was, I want to say, one of those kind of slow burn episodes where they kind of had to explain a lot. And
setting
kinda,
a lot of things up for you for sure.
They had to set up the gears and get the ball rolling a little bit.
But I can see where they're going. Like, I can see that it'll be exciting.
I'm really hoping that episode 2 like hits hard,
kicks it up.
Yeah. I'm sure it will.
Because I think if they followed this up with another episode like this, then I would be kind of like bummed out. But like, I want to see some like, you know, it's like Holmes and Moriarty, but it's just Holmes and like negative Holmes. You know, Loki versus Loki. I'm super down for that.
I have a question for everyone. What do you guys feel towards this level or like this style of media release? So like this character getting a multiple episode release versus
really
getting
smart.
a single movie.
I think it's really smart. Especially now, movies are so fucking long. Every movie is 2.5 hours minimum, and a lot of it you're just like, oh my gosh, okay, like did we really need this much, or it's not enough. Specifically with Marvel movies, it's just not enough. There's so much to cover. I mean, hundreds of comics for each character that you have to cover. So I think doing it like this is smart. I wish they would have just released it so you could binge it. I mean, I don't really understand like the episode to episode, especially since everybody already has the app. Like you already have the money. So that's kind of annoying.
Though, like I think releasing it weekly does serve a certain purpose. Like if you
builds
binge,
hype.
I like it.
Exactly.
I like
you talk about it.
I mean, I guess we're doing it right now.
I definitely like to get the show and binge it, but at the same point in time, it's nice to have something to look forward to every week.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Wednesdays every week are an exciting day to Sarah and I because this show is on.
And then you have a week to talk about it and you know, come up with ideas about what's going to happen next. And so I think it has its place. Like we're a little bit spoiled with the Netflix era, like just release a full blown show like Stranger Things or something like that, and then it's done.
I guess it adds more
I wish
value
I would have
to
taken a note from The Boys though, because like season 2 of The Boys, they released like the first 3 or 4 episodes at once, and like that was
I guess if
cooler,
you only
because
have
then you're not
6,
left feeling
you know?
like this.
Where like this first episode was
Like
kind of
a Loki episode happened.
I wish they would do it
And
like
that's
TV,
kinda all I
where they
have to
give
say
you like
about
the
it.
first 2 episodes. Like it's a 2-hour long premiere. You know, like I wish they would do that, like two episode premiere.
I think
you know?
3 episodes week 1 followed by a weekly release is like perfect.
But I
think
do
that's
love
way to
the
go.
TV aspect of it because, like, movies, like you said, just don't do it justice. As I'm like reading more like novels and like all these different types of things, there's so much more that I want from movies of things that I really enjoy. Whereas if they were in TV shows, like we have talked about this 100 times, if they ever make a Stormlight Archives show and or movie, it better be a show.
I hope it's a show.
If it's a movie, there's no way you can do it justice.
And I hope it's like a Game of Thrones-esque where it's like people from Broadway, people you don't know. Like I don't want a Brad Pitt in Stormlight Archive. You know what I mean?
But it's that kind of thing where it's like you can do it so much more justice to have it be episode by episode.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think there are negatives to doing it that way though. Like, sorry, drinking. So like I was saying about you have to catch people up. Like, I feel like when you saturate the market this much with so much stuff, you're kind of taking away from like the biggest parts of it. Like the next time that we get an Avengers movie and we have like all of this setup and we're so hyped, like
You're gonna have to explain
40
that to
minutes
me.
of that movie
Yep.
is just gonna be shit that you already know.
Yeah.
And like
That's actually. Oh, go finish.
well, it's just like the problem with anything like this. Like the EU is awesome, and I've told you this that I'm kind of like losing my steam on it. But like that's not to say it's bad. Like I can't think of any other movie series that's held my interest for like 25 movies. That's crazy. Like that they got me this far. But I am getting kind of exhausted of it.
Yeah. Because it's
And-
just playing catch up a lot of the time, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
and they're
and
just
Or if they're not
stringing
playing
things
catch up,
out
it's
way
just-
more
it's
than
not
they
enough.
need to be.
Yeah.
You know, like
And it's kind of like the wider you go, the harder this is to maintain.
correct.
And they just keep going. And I mean
Yeah.
that's just like the only way.
I feel like if you're
is.
gonna go with every character, then just go full all the way in. Like just dive in. Like tell us everything you want to tell us, kind of thing. Instead of like you said, like playing catch up and stringing us along. And I get that you have
But
to
there's
build
people
that
who
hype, but
only
like,
watch like one Marvel thing a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Or like,
And
so,
I'm
like,
that
they
person.
need
So
to-
if you have the things, if you keep going wider, I think you need to have like these spin-off shows need to be about a character that's just this. They're not part of the multiverse. They're not part of anything else. Tell me the story of Loki. End his story, and then you can have the Avengers be other things, but the Avengers don't need each person to have their own set of TV shows and then movies for all of them. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
See, that would be cool to have like a self-contained story that doesn't branch into anything and then just ends that character's
Yeah.
arc, but it would also mean that they're not going to make money from that character
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's why
And
they
so
don't
it's
do
never going to happen.
But that would help solve that problem.
It would,
of
for sure.
I
just
will say,
going
though,
too wide.
like the first phase or first couple phases of Marvel, all being just films, lets you have that kind of ritual where you have those like months where you're like, I'm gonna watch the entire series from the beginning in chronological
oh
order.
my
watched
gosh, I
everything
have
before
seen
Infinity
them
War.
where it's like
Yeah.
72
And I've done that
things.
like
Yeah.
twice now
Before
where I've watched
Infinity-
it.
Sorry.
Oh, so I've done that a couple times where I've watched the entire, collection of movies in chronological order. And now I'm thinking when the next thing comes out, I'm going to have to watch like 20 something episodes
Yeah.
worth of, this new phase.
You're gonna
Read
have to
X
watch-
amount of
You have to watch
blogs.
10
and,
hours of WandaVision, 10 hours of
Yeah.
Captain America, 10
Exactly.
hours of Loki.
Which I love because, Captain America and Winter Soldier, like there was so much packed in there,
Don't
like
spoil, I'm still binging it.
yeah. But you get so many, cool little moments with those characters and you learn to love them more because you spend more time with them, right? It's going to be a very difficult thing moving forward, letting go of like, feature length movies versus a series because of just the time commitment it takes to re-experience these things and spend time with these like awesome characters.
Eventually, it's just going to be impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Avengers Endgame is coming out, and I have 4,000 hours of content
But I
to
mean,
watch.
that's how comics are. You
No,
know what I mean?
I know.
They constantly have a new villain. They constantly have something else going on. I think they took this on going, oh, this will be cool. And then just now, I think they're probably starting to go, this is a lot. This is a bit
Yeah.
much.
But I mean,
like,
they're
know,
probably
but
going,
yeah,
this is
I mean,
a lot of money.
This
Yeah.
is a lot of
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's guaranteed.
I mean, we
money.
talk about this all the time with movies, though, is like when you don't choose an ending when you start off, it just inevitably gets cheaper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Like when you need a
I
new
think
Star Wars
WandaVision
movie
is
every year.
cheap. I don't really care for it. I think it's just very.
Yeah,
I
you've
don't
only
know.
seen like 10 minutes of it.
No,
though.
I've watched a couple episodes, and
Wait,
I
of
still,
Wanda?
yeah, I'm still just like,
Yeah.
So fun.
I don't know.
I liked WandaVision.
I liked it too.
I think that like you need to watch the whole thing to really judge it because I understand why you would think that. Just
It
coming in
evolves.
and seeing some
I just feel like
scenes.
they
It
picked
evolves
like the
heavily.
weakest of the actors for this show.
for WandaVision.
Yeah.
I just
after
disagree.
after
You just gotta watch
finishing
it.
you'll think differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to watch it and then you
I've
can
watched
come
like
through
full
this
episodes,
bogus
and
opinion.
I still just feel like I don't know.
Nah, you gotta watch it.
Yeah. You got to get to the good
Seriously,
parts.
the end of WandaVision was awesome.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't even like I wouldn't give the show a 10 out of 10 or anything, but like by the end of the show I was like,
I
ugh,
care about
the
Wanda.
very end of the
I
show.
care about
yeah,
Vision.
dude,
I
I'm
didn't
like,
watch the last episode. I
damn.
watched episode
Yeah.
7.
But
yeah.
yeah, we're
No,
ready
Trevor's
to
like, I
how
don't
how like 1 through 10 excited are we for the season?
Oh man.
I think I'm honestly gonna be disappointed.
Really?
Loki is such an amazing character, and I'm reading a book right now on him, and just the book compared to this, I'm like, this sucks. Like,
It's also completely different. Loki.
I know
Yeah.
I know it
Yeah.
is, but still, I mean, he's the god of mischief. He's a shape changer. He has so like, I mean, they even say it in the movie, like, you have so much potential, like, you know.
But
And
maybe
I just feel like they're kind of muting him. I really hope they go hard with it. I hope they don't go too, because, you know, obviously we are 100% going to see a lady Loki and like an old Loki and stuff. I just hope they do it.
he doesn't get
justice,
old. He
you know what I mean?
dies.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's supposed to die.
Yeah.
He never gets old.
But that's why this one's bad, right? The King Loki, and
I mean-
because it's an older actor that they have cast.
Oh, really?
And they haven't said who who he's
dang.
playing, and that's who we think is King
Does
Loki.
he
We
look
think that
like-
he lived through. Somehow he managed to make it happen. And I don't know if him coming back and doing this timeline makes it so that he can be king. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see. I think it was interesting. We didn't even talk about it, but that stained glass window. It had like the demon like sitting on the
devil. Oh, yeah, the
earth, and the
devil?
earth was on fire, and it had like the moon and stuff, and it had a blue tongue, and the candy was blue, and it's nightmare. It's nightmare.
I thought it was Mephisto at first.
I looked into that. It's not Mephisto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the actor or the director said it's
Yeah.
not Mephisto. That's
I
why
was
I'm
kinda
like,
bummed.
she didn't say it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, number. Give me a
Sorry.
number.
Sorry. Tangent.
Oh man, numbers.
An excitement level.
Well, yeah. How excited are you for?
I would love to say 8, but I think I'm more of like a 5, 6, just because I just
Wow.
don't think they're gonna do it justice.
Wow.
I'm with Ashton on this one.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
excitement level.
I would love to
wow.
be excited.
you.
I bet I'm
Yeah.
gonna be
Very
the same
high.
as Parker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. Yeah. What number? We
like,
said a.
like I love anything Marvel. I'm a sucker for it. But this one was such a slow burn and exposition heavy kind of episode that I'm not entirely sure what the direction is, and I think I need a little bit
Wow.
more to really kind of
You're
plant my
crazy.
foot.
I was
in
gonna
there.
say
you're
I'm
crazy.
pretty sure. I'm
I think
right
for
here
now
with
they're just gonna
Parker.
tick kind of like the
Yeah.
PC boxes.
Like, it was
we'll have,
good.
like,
I
a
liked
Lady
it. It was
Loki.
I would
fine.
not believe from the
I'm- I have
conversation
this
that we've
number,
all
Ashton.
just
This
had
is
that
what I
would
think
be the
Parker's gonna
highest
give it.
person.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
That's
No,
gonna
I'll give
be-
it like a 7.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7.
What do
Yeah,
you give?
I'm at a 7.5 and a strong,
They're
Okay.
so cute
Yeah.
together.
a strong 7.5.
Parker, you and I
I'm
are
literally
always
just
like
the
right on
beard.
the
They're
same.
together.
Here's the thing. I did not give a shit about Wanda nor Vision before watching WandaVision, and now I really care
Exactly.
about them.
What's
Yeah.
the point of the show? Is to
Falcon
make you
and
care
Winter
about this.
Soldier, I can tell that I'm gonna love it. Like I've only seen
It's so fun.
like
I
the
loved
first
it.
episode, but I just know, like just seeing how it looks, that like this is gonna be freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Loki's
Look at that
an
smile. Look at
actual
that, like-
interesting character.
Oh, no,
But that's
he is.
why I'm worried. That's
Loki
why I'm
is
worried
someone-
that they're not going to
But,
give
like,
it enough.
they
I think they're
haven't-
gonna. I think
they've
they're
never
gonna.
had that
They're
problem
gonna
before.
marvel it. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna
What do you
cap
mean?
it. They get to
But
the
no,
edge.
no, but this isn't
they
the
get
story
to where
of
it's
Greek
just
god
about to be
Loki.
good. No, I know, but
This
still,
is
he's still.
Loki, the Marvel character.
I know, but he's still a good character. He's still somebody who's so interesting. But I feel like they get you where you're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna like just like with the multiverse, where you're like they're gonna do it, and then they go, no, and
Yeah.
they just fucking cut it off, and you're like,
Loki's
that's why I'm
always
not into Marvel,
been-
because I feel like they let me down. Like,
Loki's
all
always been the
time.
best part of whatever Marvel movie he's in.
Yeah.
So I think that they're gonna crush it. I think that like
Fingers crossed.
I don't know about like how the overall. I'm not super excited for how like the overall MCU will be affected
Uh-huh.
by all
Mhm.
of this.
Correct.
But I know that I'm just gonna be like
This
such
show
a
in
fucking
particular.
Loki mark by the end of it. I'm just gonna love it. I'm gonna want more Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the
I'm glad they're finally doing it, because I love Loki, and it's like I said, he's such a cool character.
Exactly.
I'm so glad he's finally getting a show. I'm just worried they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
don't think
really
they'll fuck
worried.
it up.
I think that's my point.
Having
is,
Disney on it too, where I'm like, ugh.
like
you know?
based off of just episode 1, I don't know enough about
Yeah.
the series going forward to really be like super excited about it.
feel
Like
Yeah.
that
obviously,
gives me
like-
anticipation for
Yeah.
it.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
we're in a
stressed.
new
I'm
world,
low-key
new stuff.
stressed.
Like I
Uh-huh.
said, it looks like it's gonna be a Sherlock and Moriarty thing, but with
Yeah.
just 2 Lokis. How are you not excited?
there's gonna be like 6 Lokis.
You're the
in
Marvel
some-
fan here.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
I'm
Trevor.
right
No.
there with Parker. 7.5. I think
Mhm.
it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look forward to Wednesdays when
Oh, yeah.
this show is on and I get to sit down with Sarah and watch it. So
I'm still looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
I'm just, I guess it's just that worry wart in me that's just like, they're going to fuck it up. I'm going to get all excited and they're going to let me down. So I'm just, I'm guarding my heart, you know?
Yeah.
But I
Cool.
feel like they failed so few times that I have great expectations for the show, and moving forward, I'm sure I'm going to be extremely satisfied with what they do. Like
That's the
their
thing.
anti-heroes have been, a little bit lesser, but they're kind of being propped up in this new, phase, and so I'm super excited for that.
Yeah.
They always seem to at least succeed at the thing that they set out to.
Mhm.
It's just that sometimes I don't like the thing that they set out to succeed in.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is a Loki show. I think they're gonna do good.
Yeah.
And like, at least after the first episode, I don't have reason to not be
Exactly.
hyped for it.
Exactly. So
Maybe after next week,
Yeah.
I'll say that I'm at a 4.
No,
But
if
for now,
anything,
7.5.
I would almost like to withhold my rating of it and until the entire season.
well,
That
I'm not
way-
telling you to give a rating
Yeah.
of the show.
No,
I'm
it's
saying
just-
like,
just the
like how
episode.
excited are you for the series?
I'm excited, but not as excited as I should be.
1
Like
through 10, how excited
Yes.
does
This episode could have been
1 make you for
spicy.
the
We're
series?
like guarding. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
I
should have been a
think we're on the same
better
part.
episode. I think they could have done a lot more, but I don't know.
But it's so important, like you said, it's so important to set up this specific.
And I guess
Yeah.
it's been a
world.
long time since we've seen Loki.
like you
Exactly.
said, like
And
you
that's
were
why I'm
saying
not mad about
when
it.
I was saying the aesthetic was boring. Like it's intentional.
Exactly.
All of this is intentional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These
And
aren't
like just
mistakes.
because I would like to have been in the freaking Citadel Street seeing Loki run away from a bunch of time cops.
we probably will.
I think that would be awesome, but that wasn't first episode
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So
Do we think maybe Owen Wilson's character is Nightmare? He seems
Ooh.
the only one aware of how this dreamscape works.
I
I've been like, I don't know, kind of teasing
yeah, you're
myself with
really
that.
going
I don't
into
think
this
so.
one
I am
there.
so
You are like
into it.
100%
happen.
I don't
convinced.
think
I
so.
just
Just
want it
because
to
of the
happen.
casting, I can't see
Yeah.
Owen Wilson being an
That's
evil
true.
person.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
it
then they'd
doesn't
have to-
necessarily have to be him. I mean, he could come to fruition and like, you know, they could, I don't know, go with like
Yeah.
a CG like they did with Thanos, you know, something like that.
Yeah, but that was still
and then we could get an
Josh
epic.
Brolin.
Wow.
Wow, you really think this is
I'm
real?
the villain. Wow.
Look at this grass.
All right, guys.
All right, yeah, we should
Yep,
wrap
I
it
think
up.
we're done
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's
The
too long
alcohol is
already.
getting to me.
Yeah, so go check out Loki on Disney Plus. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Also, just hop in the comments, tell us what you think about the episode.
Mhm.
Hit that like button.
Are you guys on the nightmare train with me?
Right?
Who's riding the nightmare train?
Yeah, join
Just-
Ashton in her
Oh.
campaign to
I just
make
don't know
Nightmare a
enough
thing.
about it.
Yeah.
But, all
You
right.
don't know about anything.
Please
really.
click like and subscribe. Twitter,
fired.
Instagram. Check us out.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye.